All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to today's program with ULI New Mexico. Explore ULI New Mexico member tools and more. I'm Dan, I'm the district coordinator for ULI New Mexico. Just a few housekeeping items. Please stay muted if you're not talking, helps us to reduce background noise. We're gonna keep it pretty informal today, so if you have any questions or comments, hop in the chat, raise your hand. We really want to encourage you to have the opportunity to talk to Carolyn and Sarah, who are here today from ULI National, to explain how to use all our awesome membership tools. So yeah, without further ado, I will pass it off to Will.
Thanks, Dan. So welcome everyone. You know, I think in this last 6 months, we've all been on a lot of Zoom calls and we've been online a lot, but I think sometimes we have our blinders on and are not seeing the bigger picture. And I think ULI really helps all of us to look outside of our own city, our own region, and see how the rest of the world is adapting and improvising and figuring out what the next new normal looks like. And ULI is this amazing organization. I know that I'm often kicking myself for not looking at case studies from other places that really can help inform projects that we all are grappling with in New Mexico and this region. So, so I hope that we all can kind of expand our appreciation for what our membership in ULI offers. And I'd like to just go through and let other people on our board to give a very brief perspective on what they're doing. You can see on the screen the various chairs that we have for the various committees that we have. And I'd just like to give folks a chance to just briefly say what they are doing. So I'm going to pass it off to Josh. Josh?
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. My name is Joshua Smith. I'm the previous past chair. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm really excited about today because I've never really I feel like taken the opportunity to dive into everything that ULI offers from an educational background perspective. So I'm really excited to see that. But, you know, also for anyone that's new to ULI, I think as with many organizations, you get out of it what you put into it. And the more of these smaller sort of ad hoc meetings you can go to, and when we get back to the new normal, you know, more of the mixers, you'll really start to see the benefits of ULI from a networking perspective too. So thanks for putting this together today, Dan, and I look forward to our content.
All right.
I think Mr. Ransom's up now.
Yeah. John? I think John's on.
Good morning. I'm John Ransom. I'm this year's sponsorship chairperson. I couldn't speak any higher of an organization than the Urban Land Institute. I'm also looking forward to expanding the tools that I already use there, and hopefully there'll be people that can contact me directly for sponsorship opportunities. Thank you.
Great. And I'd like to pass off to Rothy. Rothy's our DEI chair. Rothy.
Thanks, Will. I'm Rothy Casey. I originally was involved with ULI when I was living in Hong Kong, and I'm so glad that I got to get involved with ULI when we moved to New Mexico. Previously, I've been the Young Leader Chair and the Marketing Chair, and this year I'm very excited to be representing the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. It's not an isolated committee. We work alongside other committees to further our mission, and I've really enjoyed participating in all of these committees, and I really feel that at the committee level, you're really discussing some very detailed processes, and I've learned so much from my peers in those committee meetings.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate your perspective, Rothy. So, and I don't know if Ren is on, our young leader. I don't think Ren is on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I'll pass it to Banu. Banu, who has been with our chapter since the beginning. Banu.
That is correct. So our district council was established, certified in 2008. And again, my name is Banu McKinley. I'm the current membership chair. However, I have a unique position in that I am the past Dan Majewski. So, and so I have seen both sides of the organization, and obviously I accepted the job as the staff, knowing a little bit of ULI. However, if I will get the chance to talk about it a little bit more later in the program, I have to say, once I was in ULI, being involved in other organizations, I didn't realize what a welcoming and multifaceted, multidisciplinary organization that opened up so many relationships and opportunities for me professionally.
Yeah.
Look forward to the rest of the program to say more if I have the chance.
Well said. Katrina, to round out our international trio of chairs. You're muted.
I did it. Unmuted. Hi, yeah, as Will was saying, I'm Katrina. I'm the newest board member and marketing chair, and I'm very excited to be part of ULI because I love the different people that it brings together and how people in the development community are not just in it for advancing their own goals, but doing something for the community and creating more resilient communities. And so I'm really excited to be here. I'm sharing marketing, and so we are trying to broadcast the message of ULI New Mexico a little more broadly and attract more members. So if you're interested in joining us, please do so, because this is an awesome organization to be part of.
All right, thank you, Katrina. Do we have Todd on the line? I don't think we had Todd.
I don't see him.
So let's jump to Bob Feinberg. So this is our management committee, and then we have an advisory board of which Bob is an esteemed member. So Bob, take it away.
Thank you, Dan. I have been a member of ULI, a full member for over 30 years. And I think it's one of the finest real estate development, sustainable organizations that I know of in our community, in our business. Dale Decker and I started in 2005, formulating a plan to create our own ULI New Mexico chapter. We were successful around 2006. Banu came on and told us how to run our world, thank God. But it is an organization that is so out of the box. You have to remember you're getting a global perspective of approximately 30 to 35,000 people that are in this business every day, every facet. And it is such a friendly organization. We may speak about the tools a little bit later. And I'm very interested to hear all of that. Just to relate something very quickly, we are waiting for a response on an RFP for an airport in the United States for the peripheral development of approximately 7,000 acres. I didn't know where to start, but I wanted to be part of it. I picked up the phone call and I called one ULI leader in DC. And we are now one of two finalists for this RFP answer. Colliers is a national real estate firm. And it was just an unbelievable the ability to just be able to pick up the phone and call these experts in any fields that you want to learn about or become involved in. It's a great, great learning tool, and so out of the box of what we do every day, because the global perspective is a major part of ULI. And I am so appreciative of my co-members, my co-board. Everybody is just wonderful in this organization and helpful. And I invite you all to join, young, middle-aged, or antique like myself. Thank you.
Nice, Bob. Thanks. That's a great example, great anecdote about that. And so we wish you luck on winning that competition. So I think I want to turn it over to Dan now as our district coordinator and talk a little bit about his role.
Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. So I'm Dan Majewski. I'm the district coordinator for ULI. I've been in this role for not that long, actually. I really started officially January 1 of this year. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, but it's honestly been an amazing experience. I can't thank all of the various board members enough. Also, I can't thank the folks at ULI National enough, who've been extremely supportive and were so quick to pivot when we learned that we had to go virtual, and really giving us all the tools we needed to be successful, whether it was, trainings on how to run a Zoom webinar, just how to use all the different tools that National has created for us. So again, really happy to be here, really happy to be the district coordinator. I'm the sole staff person for ULI New Mexico. And so far, so great. We did our first in-person event a couple weekends ago. We did a bike tour. Went really well. So we're gonna see if we can keep using that kind of model of time spaced out small groups in order to comply with the state health regulations. And we've got plenty more good webinars in the queue as well, including one tomorrow about complete streets that I hope all you can make it on. So now I'm gonna pass it off to Carolyn and Sarah.
Thanks, Dan. I'm Carolyn. I am in the headquarters office, but I'm supporting all of our member networks globally, and primarily with our different platforms and tools that are available no matter where you are in the world, and especially now, given COVID, being able to participate virtually is of the utmost importance. So a little bit of background on the tools. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've been developing these different products and ways that members can engage with ULI and receive those benefits. Again, because we have some like smaller to mid-range national or district councils. We also have areas where we have members, but absolutely no chapter. And so how do we fulfill that member experience, whether or not there is a local chapter that members can engage with? We've conducted a lot of listening exercises, and we find consistently that there are 3 main drivers for membership, which I think was kind of covered in the first part of this meeting by members. So the idea of ULI being able to provide you with networking opportunities and access to the network, as Bob mentioned, that you're a part of this network, and being able to fulfill that no matter where you are, the access to content, and then the ability to give back to your community, to volunteer, to lead, and give back, as Katrina covered earlier as well. And so with those 3 concepts in mind, we've developed 3 platforms over the last 3 years. Member Directory is to help deliver on our the ability to connect with members around the world. Knowledge Finder is our way to deliver all of ULI's content globally. And then Navigator is the tool to use when you want to find those opportunities to lead and volunteer. I'm going to cover kind of at a high level some different tips, and then we'll go into an actual live demo of these different platforms to show you how to use them. So Member Directory is located at members.uli.org. ULI has over 100 web properties because we have 75 or so local chapters and all of the different regions. You can also find in the top navigation of all of our websites, which we'll show you in a minute, that you can access the tools there without having to remember the URLs. But member directory is how you can connect with the member network of over 45,000 real estate professionals across the globe. Sarah will show you in a minute how to use the advanced search to find exactly the right person. And as Bob mentioned in his great anecdote earlier, what I've heard over the years as well is that if you tell a member that you found them on the member directory or that you're a ULI member, they're much more inclined to pick up the phone, respond to an email. It's not LinkedIn. This is your network, your club that you're a part of. So really encourage you to leverage that feature. It's also important that you make sure your profile is up to date so that other people can find you for the same type of experience. And then finally, we've just rolled out a new feature and a new benefit, which is personalized content. And that is facilitated by you indicating your interest within member directory. So Sarah will show where to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like in real life when we get to the demo. Navigator is, again, the way to connect to opportunities to lead or volunteer. We have, I think, around 525 opportunity types, which represent thousands of ways that you can get involved. This includes things like contributing to Urban Land Magazine or serving on a product council. And I know that those are great opportunities, and we'll show you a little bit more about that. But this just gives you visibility as a leader within ULI and then the opportunity to give back to the industry at large and your community as well. The beauty of Navigator is that you do not need to know the member of staff who facilitates the program. You do not need to know, a lot of our programs are facilitated by members for members. So the Product Council program, for example, there's staff on the inside of ULI that internally help facilitate that experience. But all of the appointments for product councils are decisions made by the product council members themselves. And so rather than having to know who to reach out to, you can submit an inquiry with a Navigator, and within 3 business days, you should be getting a response. So it really kind of breaks down any barriers or walls, not knowing how to get involved. Knowledge Finder, this is our newest platform. We had a prototype that launched in 2018. We launched an all new version of the site built on machine learning and AI that also allows for content personalization, the ability to search PDFs, see what's trending among other members, and more. And so I'll do a demo and kind of walk through some of these cool new features, but we're really trying to deliver the best in class platform for you to search all content from ULI. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Sarah, and she's going to walk through member directory and Navigator.
Thanks, Carolyn. We'll kick off with member directory. So as Carolyn mentioned, member directory can be accessed at members.uli.org. You can sign in with your ULI credentials, and these are the same credentials that you would use to, say, register for an event, sign into your account to make any payment updates. So once you sign in, you're taken to this home screen here, and you'll notice that there is a basic search that you can search by first name, last name, company name, email address. We also have our advanced search, which, as Carolyn mentioned, this is where I really see the power, because you're able to really drill down into our global network of over 45,000 members and hone in on members by location, district or national council, product council, professional role, areas of interest, expertise, and more. So for example, say you want to find all of the members within ULI New Mexico who are also developers. You can insert that criteria and then It will return, there are 8 members within ULI New Mexico who are developers, so it will give you that list, and then you're able to click in, read more about them, and see if they are the right member for you to connect with. And you can also from the screen access your profile. So by clicking My Profile, you'll be taken to your profile where you can update your contact information, add your professional headshot, craft your own biography, add all of your areas of expertise, interest. It will automatically populate the district council you belong to. You can add your job history, professional certifications, and education history. And as I showed you in the advanced search, all of this criteria that you add to your member profile is searchable. So we encourage you to keep your profiles up to date so other members are able to find and connect with you. And just to reiterate, as Carolyn mentioned, now more than ever, it is important to make sure your areas of interest are up to date, as this will inform the content personalization within Knowledge Finder. And we also recently in August launched a monthly digest that is also informed by your areas of interest. So Knowledge Finder will send you the latest content that came out this month that is tailored to your interest. So really being able to serve up the most relevant results for you, our members, to help you find the correct information you are looking for. So that is Member Directory. I'll just pause. Does anyone have any questions on Member Directory before I move on to Navigator? Okay, great. So Navigator can be found at navigator.uli.org. And you'll notice here, we do have single sign-on. So once you're signed into one of the member tools, you are signed into all. And as Carolyn mentioned, all of the tools are easily accessible with our global navigation here. So you can toggle between the tools. So Navigator, that's where you go to find and connect to leadership and volunteer opportunities, ways to give back to your community and the wider industry. When you go to Navigator, you can select Get Started, and it will take you through a little quiz that will then, ask you some key questions, and you can then, it will then filter the opportunities most relevant for you. But for this case, we are just going to select See All Opportunities, so you can see the comprehensive list of all of the opportunities that are available to you as a ULI member. And then from this opportunities page, you're able to filter down more and hone in on the opportunities most relevant to you. So say you want to become a more effective leader, but only have up to 1 month time commitment. You're a full member or an associate member. You want to see the opportunities that you can apply to all year round, or those that are just actively recruiting. You can also filter by location. So I'll just show you, as we've had to pivot and shift to this new virtual world that we live in, one of our priorities at ULI has been to make sure that no matter where you are in the world, you can still get involved with ULI virtually. So we've surfaced all of the opportunities that are virtual to the top of the page here. So you can see you can apply to be a virtual advisory service panelist. You can offer your topic suggestions for ULI learning courses. You can contribute to Urban Land Magazine and more. So to learn more about this opportunity, you can simply click in, and it'll just tell you, what the opportunity is, how you get involved, why you should get involved. And then if you're interested, you can just type your statement of interest in this box here and select the region that you're in. And then once you hit submit, This will be routed to our Urban Land Magazine team, who will be able to follow up and provide you more information on the opportunity. And as Carolyn mentioned, you should receive a response within 3 business days. Any questions on Navigator? I know Carolyn's going to review the product council application process in Navigator, so I will pass it back to her if there are no other questions.
Great, thank you, Sarah. I know that there's a lot of times there are questions about product councils as a program and how to get involved. And so let me stop my share. So I wanted to point you guys in the right direction if you did have interest in serving on a product council in the future. So you would go to, either you can go to Navigator, and in the left-hand side where Sarah was showing the different criteria, you can select America's Product Councils, or you could go to this short URL, which is navigator.uli.org/PC as in Product Council Draft. There's a bit more information here about the criteria for applying and more information about the program itself, some of the considerations that are weighed by the members. Most product councils make their appointments with selections are made by the chairs and vice chairs of each product council. And then here you can see all of the different product councils. We have 65 total now. And if there are multiple flights, you'll see it there. But just as an
Carolyn,
example.
can you describe a product council a little bit for us? Sorry, it's
absolutely.
Give people a little bit of background on what they are, what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. So product councils are effectively affinity groups of about 50 to 60 members that are, pretty well into their careers, more senior members. They're a diverse composition. And so going back to this page, there's a little bit more information here. But they look for the most experienced and diverse members. That includes geographically diverse, and they meet twice a year, if not more, to discuss, the area that their topic is. So whether it's affordable workforce housing as a development type, or it's a concept like end user council or global exchange. And so there's, I think there are 34 or so different topics or industry sectors that comprise the 65 different product councils. They're pretty, they can be challenging to get into just because there's a limited number of seats available. You must be a full member in order to serve on a product council. You can apply through Navigator, which is how they receive their applications. As an associate, you just have to upgrade your membership and become a full member before you're able to accept that post in the product council. Product councils, in their meetings, there is a lot of a generosity of sharing of experiences, and it's not just about what works, but more importantly, I hear from product council members that it's about what doesn't work and sharing mistakes or sharing actual projects that, you go into the room and you can discuss candidly in a non-competitive environment and really, make decisions about your business, your real business, and not just talk about it from a conceptual level. It's very practical, very honest, and it's everything that takes place in the product council meeting stays in the product council meeting. And they come up with really interesting agendas for these meetings. So there's usually guest speakers from a variety of different non-real estate even related leadership and interesting topics. So it's one of our most coveted opportunities at ULI. The retention rate of product council members is somewhere around 96%, because it is just so good and so kind of at the heart of what ULI, which is sharing best practices and lessons learned. Does that help?
Carolyn, I'm sorry, this is Bob Feinberg. Can I just interrupt for a second? I've been, I can speak from the experience. I'm on my third product council over about the last 13 or 14 years. And it is a club within a club that when I tell you I'm the dumbest guy in all three of the rooms I've been in and all three product councils, that most on the phone here know that that's a true statement. But the people that are involved in these product councils are some of the most sought after, heavyweight, real estate, architect, accounting, designers, planners, mayors, frankly, governors are involved in product councils. And it is a challenge to get in. You typically have to be referred, and then you're invited as a guest, and you listen and participate. But it is so productive. And once you are in this kind of inner club, you have the opportunity to stay in it, and switch to different product councils, whatever piques your interest. And, you know, we were talking about something the other day. Oh, our managing director, Scott Whitefield, was advising us all to get out of the comfort zone. And, you know, we all need to do that, because obviously it hasn't been comfortable for a while with what we're living with. But over and above that, even if times were back to normal, getting out of your comfort zone and getting into, per se, a product council that you have no knowledge about anything that this product council studies and discusses is a very easy way to get out of your comfort zone comfortably. Thank you.
Thanks. That is really helpful. And so as Bob mentioned, it is very challenging to get on them, but we do have some tips that the product council team would share as well. I think, you know, the first step, if you're interested, is to look at who is actually the chair, who is on the product council, and see if there's anyone you know. You know, talk to people like Bob and other members that if you're connected with, they can give you some tips. But as I understand and I hear from product council members over the years, it is, you know, making the first connection. Submitting your inquiry within Navigator helps the staff side of it, the program, facilitate the nominations or the submissions for the draft period, which takes place in the summer. But it is an opportunity that has rolling admission. And so, you know, submitting a strong statement of interest so that you get on the list that is then distributed to all of the chairs and vice chairs regularly, making that outreach and connection with other members that you may know or that you can get to know, you know, serving as a guest or being invited to serve as a guest, and being active within that space, you know, not being passive, because it's like, I think Will said earlier, you get what you put into it out of it. So you have to be an active participant to really get an invitation. And, you know, some people serve as guests multiple times, but within the Navigator opportunity, you can read more about those. You can also see some of the past agendas to get an idea of what topics have been discussed to kind of hone in on your top pick. Look at the leadership, see if you know anyone, and just try to get a foot in the door. And again, you can use member directory to then also search for the members. So we have all the product councils, including global ones in Europe and Asia, which will be pretty clearly designated. But you can look within each of these, see if there's anyone you know, and then potentially reach out and make a connection that way.
So Carolyn, can you just explain what the different flights are?
Sure. They are arbitrary color choices to expand the product council. So because to make it productive, the cap is between like 55 and 65 members, including guests for each meeting. When there is enough interest generated for a product council, and again, that's why it's so important that you submit your inquiry in Navigator so that you can be on that list. UDMUC, most of them go by an acronym. So Urban Development Mixed Use Council, which is lovingly referred to as UDMUC, has the most flights because it's the most popular. And once they get to a backlog of a couple hundred, they may consider adding another flight. I know that I believe the Platinum flight was added 2 years ago. When there was the expansion of product councils in 2017, 2018, there were 10 product councils total that were added. That included, I believe, 5 completely new concepts and 5 flight expansions. But the colors mean nothing. There's no hierarchy to them. It's just whichever one was picked without any rhyme or reason. So
thanks.
Yeah, no worries. So that's a bit more information. I know that there were some questions around product councils, so wanted to make sure to cover that. With that, I am going to actually jump into Knowledge Finder, which is the other platform and the way to connect to content. The thing about Knowledge Finder that's so great is that it is, unlike any other ULI website, the search experience is so much faster than anything we've ever had before. It's leveraging AI and machine learning, so the relevancy changes over time based on what people are clicking through. It also enables an exploratory experience, so you can search by different topics. If you want to look into what's the latest from development, you can go to a landing page and also then explore subtopics within development. You can also explore by content types if there's a way you enjoy consuming content more than others. We have reports, which include all of our advisory service panel reports going back to 1947. We have all of our TAPS reports from our district councils and some national councils, which are the outside of the US equivalent of a district council. We have all of our research reports from all of our content centers and initiatives globally, and some reports from district and national councils as well. Our case studies are really robust pieces of content that if you were not on the project team, would be very hard to get that level of detail, that level of data, everything from site size and costs and actual real data from the project itself, but also the project team, and most importantly, in the spirit of ULI, talks about mistakes made and lessons learned. The project has to have at least one phase completed. There are some projects in here that are still not completed, but they're 30-year-long multi-phase projects. So really robust information there. There's also an entire section that is dedicated to resilience, urban resilience and sustainability. So those are more of our newer case studies as well, which may be of interest. Our reading lists are curated articles from the Urban Land magazine. They're around different topics and real estate issues. We publish about one a month. This month we published one on equitable development. And so there's a lot of great content there as well. You'll also be able to find a digital version of Urban Land magazine, beginning with the spring 2020 issue. Obviously, we pivoted to a digital world, and there was concern that your magazine might be sitting in an office that you're not going to somewhere. So we digitized the magazine and placed it here as well for you. Our events library cover our major meetings. So those could be major district or national council meetings, and also our fall and spring meetings, our Europe conference, our Asia Pacific Summit, any other housing conference or larger conference as well. Also, just to mention here, if you're a full member, you have complimentary access to the spring meeting. During the spring meeting this past year, it was complimentary for full members, and you can access all of those presentations and videos here. Videos and webinars include different videos and webinars from across the organization globally. Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have somewhere between 250 and 300 new webinars since the end of March. So tons of content to get through. We have a handful that we're actually going to publish soon, with thanks to Dan and coordinating side. But you can literally visit any of the national councils in any region in the world, or any district council event that is content-based within this section. Finally, we have books. This is the only content that's not fully consumable within Knowledge Finder. You do go to our bookstore, but the reason it's helpful to have it here within Knowledge Finder is a lot of times, because the bookstore lives so separately from everything else in our kind of ULI ecosystem, it's easy to forget that we actually are also a publisher. And so you can search by keyword, and if there is a book, it will come up in the results. Also, non-members are able to peruse the entire book section without having to sign in, so they can search through those as well. Finally, you can also look at different featured content. We usually feature our latest reports here. This is a new feature that we rolled out over the summer. One of the benefits of ULI membership and being a part of this club and this network is knowing what's trending amongst other members. So it's always good to be in the know and see what other members are actively looking at this week. This is powered by AI, and so it does update every week. Right now you can see equitable development is trending. You can see the prior week average, or the prior average to this week. You could also click on the topic itself if you wanted to see more content related specifically to that topic. This is one of the sections Sarah alluded to. This section is custom, and this one specifically is me, because I'm signed in as myself, as you can see, Carolyn. I can scroll through. This is going to show me the latest content. Sarah and team are updating with several pieces of content per day now. So check back often and see what the latest is since the last time you were there. You can update your interest in member directory, as Sarah showed you. You can also update them here. So there's no need to actually leave Knowledge Finder. You can just keep exploring. You can see some of our recent content here, different webinars, reports, books, case studies, etc. And then some other featured content on the homepage. There are some pieces of content that are full member only. There are also some pieces of content that are open to the general public. Especially with COVID related content, we felt that as an organization, we needed to provide the resources and the expertise that our members have for the greater good of the industry. If you can't find what you're looking for, at the bottom of every page, you'll find this little link. When you click this, it opens an email that is directed to our ULI librarian. For some of you who have been around ULI for a while, you might already be familiar, but Joan Campbell is our ULI librarian, and she has been for the past 30 years as of August. And so she's an absolute treasure for the organization, and she's helpful in pointing you in the right direction. And she is an extension of this team and this project as well. So shout out to Joan. If you want kind of an overview of all of this, the About page is linked to at the bottom of every page. We currently just have this one video, but we're working on developing Knowledge Finder 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 kind of quick demos on how to leverage all of the new features as we are continuing to roll more out. You can also see what's next on our roadmap because we are continuing to develop it. Sarah and I actually need to update this because we just had a major launch. And coming soon, we actually are going to have 2 new content types. One is our courses. We have a program called ULI Learning, which has, again, a separate website that provides foundational courses in real estate development and other different kinds of training courses that are available for an additional fee. this will enable you to search within Knowledge Finder for those topics and surface those courses and take you to those similar to the books. The other new content type, which I'm most excited for, is virtual tours. So if you're registered for the fall meeting, you'll get a sneak peek because a lot of the tours there will then move into Knowledge Finder. But we have two kinds of tours. One is going to be a presentation that has, you know, the project team walking you through in a webinar format with video and photos and things like that to talk about a project that's under construction or a project that's recently been completed. And then the other flavor, which is even more exciting, is an actual 360 interactive tour. Think Google, Google Maps, Street View. You can actually walk through the project by clicking through with your mouse, turn around 360, look up and down, and there'll be some different kind of placards with information about the development project as well. So that's coming soon in the next few months, and something to keep an eye out for. Any questions before I show an example of a search?
I have one. Carolyn,
Sure.
you mentioned the spring meeting was one thing that was a difference between a full membership and an associate membership. Are there other, you know, different access for a full versus an associate member within Knowledge Finder?
Yeah, there are several other kind of webinar series. There was a leadership webinar series that was available for full members only. We don't have a filter between the two, but our plan is that because full members are the only members invited and able to go to spring meetings usually, that content will remain for full members. I think the model will shift slightly for the FY21 year, but there are a handful of other you know, different types of series that we have within Knowledge Finder that are full member only currently. Okay, so we prepped for this call and talking to Dan about some cool content that would be potentially relevant and resonate with you all. As I mentioned, we had hoped to get the webinars in before this call, but we had a couple of speed bumps along the way. So I was going to perform a search, but Dan, do you want to provide any kind of context around this?
Well, yeah, so, you know, in the past, ULI New Mexico, we've led actually a lot of, you know, far before I was here in this position, we've led a couple studies of various sites. So many of you know about the rail yard study that we helped put together that is, you know, I think still being used as a reference today. And there's one about the Lomas Corridor as well, which, as many of you know, has been kind of an ongoing you know, on again, off again opportunity development site. And so I think it's important to understand that these resources are here and they're great. They're a great way to kind of, you know, maybe if we're trying to get a conversation jump started, these resources are right here at our fingertips, and it's a great place to kind of start looking and maybe restart some of these conversations that have stalled in the past. And then there's a lot of other kind of regionally related things as well. So, you know, recently there was a report that ULI released called Scorched, and it's all about how kind of heat-related climate change is going to kind of impact various parts of the United States. And of course, here in New Mexico, that's going to be, you know, one of the greatest challenges, as we all experienced during this summer specifically, right? It was noticeably hotter, it was noticeably drier. And so there's lots of other similar regionally based pieces of information that are also available as well. So I think, you know, sometimes I see in terms of like what ULI National is pushing out, a lot of it is maybe more big city focused, but there's plenty of things that are relevant to our mid-sized market and also our part of the country.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so I was gonna show you an example, the Lomas Recorder. I actually spelled it wrong in the first search. I don't know if anyone noticed. I did that on purpose. It automatically corrects it because it is powered by machine learning and AI. It's the smartest search experience that we've ever had at ULI. I'm not a bad speller, generally speaking. But one of the cool things is, as you see here, to find kind of specific topics, if you put them in quotes, they'll be considered separate search terms. And one of the things that's powered by the machine and AI is this ability to preview within the PDF of any PDF that we have currently, where these different terms exist. So I think I might have accidentally, let's do next. So I can actually, one of the things that you all know as members is that nobody has enough time to kind of peruse 200-page reports on a daily basis. By clicking on Quick View, this gets you to where these terms, topics, development types actually appear within the report. So I could then say, okay, within this, the mixed use was talked about on page 15. I can also see where that purple bar is here, or just scroll through the page by using this little arrow and see some of the recommendations that came out of this panel that was led by John Walsh, a wonderful long-term member and trustee out of Dallas, Fort Worth area, alongside all of the other participants and panelists. You can go to the report. This one is from 2011, so it's one that's a little bit older, that the advisory service team hasn't gotten through all 470 of the panel reports. So generally, for the newer ones, you'd see a nice description here. You can download the PDF, or you can just preview it within your web browser. And I could then fast forward or move ahead to page 15, which is what I really wanted to read because that's the search term that I was looking for. And apologies, my internet is a little bit slow today, but saves you time. You can also download it and print it. Yeah, so that's one example. The other thing to point out is no matter where you are within the site, you can continue searching if this is not what you're looking for. You could switch topics, you could switch content types. That feature I showed you on the PDF and the being able to look into that PDF is something that we're currently working on enabling for video and webinars as well. Expect that sometime in early 2021. The idea there is that it's being transcribed by the machine, so it's not perfect. As we know, machine translation can be a little tricky, but it would allow you get closer to the experience where you can search for key terms and phrases within a video or a webinar and fast forward exactly to that part of the webinar, so you don't have to sit through 250 to 300 hours of webinars that we've recently produced. You can just see the pieces that are relevant to you. So some exciting things coming soon. I know we're near our time, and so I'm happy to answer any other questions, or feel free to reach out to me directly after this meeting. Reach out to Dan. Our job is to make sure that we're delivering the best possible member experience, and so we always welcome your feedback and questions. And thank you for your time today too.
Thank you. I mean, Carol and Sarah, this has been really, really helpful. I just keep thinking about how we can push this recording out to other members that weren't able to be here today. And it really does open, I mean, it opens my eyes, and I'm the chair, and we really, really appreciate your efforts. And I know that as one of the smaller, if not the smallest district council, we really try harder, and we really need all these tools to grow. So thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Will, and thanks, Dan, for organizing. I feel like we covered a lot of ground. So again, never hesitate to reach out to Sarah or myself, and Dan as well. And we're happy to help.
Great. So nice to meet both of you.
Nice to meet you all too.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Does anyone have any questions before we go here? All right.
All right.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.